In this video, join us in Glacier National Park, one of our bucket list destinations. Share with us epic scenery, challenging hikes, waterfalls, wildlife, and Mother Nature's ever-changing moods. Yesterday it was bright and sunny in the Wind River Range of Wyoming, but today, not so much, and we're running from the rain and snow. But not to worry, because in this video we're going to make it to Glacier National Park. It's been 9 days since we left the Wind River Range in Wyoming, spent with family in Idaho, but finally here we are at Glacier National Park. I sincerely hope you stick around to enjoy this majestic landscape with us. The hikes here pushed us to our limits, and we hope that regardless of your physical condition or age, you take inspiration from a couple of sexagenarians pushing their boundaries. After our long journey today, we just wanted to settle in and then get ready for our first day in Glacier National Park tomorrow. So the next morning we got up pretty early and got in our car and drove the roughly 10 minutes to the West Glacier entrance. The goal today was to hike Trail of the Cedars and then the Avalanche Lake Trail. Our first glimpse of Lake McDonald was absolutely spectacular. The low-hanging clouds in the cool September morning created the most ethereal and mysterious effects. Alright, first trail in Glacier National Park, Trail of the Cedars, then to Avalanche Lake. About, what do we say, Pam, 6 miles? 6 miles with about 1,500 feet of elevation gain. So in order to get to Avalanche Trail, you have to walk Trail of the Cedars, which is a really nice and easy boardwalk. Recommended for just about everybody. About a half mile in, if you're going counterclockwise on Trail of the Cedars, you find the break off to Avalanche Lake Trail. It starts with a relatively steep incline up some stairs cut into the hill. We're about, I'm guessing, 2¼ miles in. Another 3/4 of a mile to the lake. And for us flatlanders, it's pretty tough. So here we are at Avalanche Lake, beautiful hike, and we saw a bear and her cubs. We couldn't tell from distance whether it was a black bear or a grizzly. My guess is a black bear, but it was pretty cool. Once we completed the amazing and beautiful Avalanche Lake Trail, we did the touristy thing on what turned out to be a very beautiful sunny September day. We headed up Going to the Sun Road to Logan Pass. 25-mile route on the narrow curving road cut into the side of the mountain is nothing short of spectacular. Be careful, you can't take trailers here, and the maximum vehicle length is 21 feet. And if you get queasy with heights, well, you better have a barf bag ready. Seriously, going over the edge in many places is certain death. And those bikers we saw earlier, well, they have my respect not only for the endurance it takes, but the bravery. One little nudge, and over they'll go. to Logan Pass, it was super crowded. The only thing we really had time to do was go to the bathroom and ask someone to take a nice picture of ourselves. And what goes up must come down, so we're driving back the same way. But you know what? The road takes on a totally different viewpoint on the way down. And it wasn't even like we were driving the same road. Just make sure to use those low gears on the way down and don't keep hitting your brakes, or you might not have them when you really need them. And keep an eye out for passing glimpses of wildlife. So day one in Glacier National Park turned out to be a terrific day with great views that no video, no camera could possibly justify. You need to go there and see it. Day two broke windy and rainy, but we drove up to Logan Pass to see what it was like.
This is Logan Pass. Holy moly. Winds about 45, 50 miles an hour. Yikes!
There were, however, some pretty good pictures to be had. The sun was starting to peek out, so at this point we headed back to the RV Taj Mahal, otherwise known as the West Glacier KOA. This is one of KOA's resort parks. Let me tell you, this place had it all. There are a couple of pools, along with saunas and hot tubs. Talk about luxury camping. There's also an ice cream shop which serves great huckleberry ice cream. The place is manicured to perfection with beautiful flowers and trees, and as it turned out, every night that we were there, there was live entertainment. There was an on-site restaurant that was closed for the season, but they supplemented that with a food truck. And they also had an on-site beer and wine bar. Both the bathroom facilities and the showers and the on-site laundromat were super clean. Cost was about $135 a night, including our lock fee to guarantee 2 sites next to each other. And it's about 3 to 5 times more than I would typically pay, but in this case, it was worth it. It's Friday, September 27th. We are on our way to Polebridge Mercantile. We're going to try the famous Polebridge bear claws. After that, we're coming back to the KOA, packing up and heading out to Babb, Montana to do some boondocking and get into Glacier from the St. Mary's side. The route takes you from the KOA back into the park's west entrance, and from there you head westerly past Apgar Village, across the North Fork of the Flathead River, and then north, paralleling the river, to Polebridge. It was a gloomy day, but nonetheless a beautiful drive, if not time constrained.
The destination is on your right, Polebridge Mercantile. Arrived.
So we made it to the Polebridge Mercantile. Let's check this place out. It's world famous, apparently. So all of these must be the cabins that they rent out in the summer. All of those are closed for the season. Oops, don't step on the dog. That didn't move for anybody. The Polebridge Mercantile opened in 1914 and provided necessities to the hardy souls who lived in this rugged wilderness. Today, over 100 years later, it's more of a convenience store for persons renting cabins or the many tourists that visit daily in summer. But one thing that hasn't changed is its baked goods, made fresh on site every day. We got cinnamon rolls and huckleberry bear claws, and let me tell you, they were worth the drive. A short distance away, we re-entered Glacier National Park with the intent of seeing Bowman Lake. The road to get there was short, but it took us a lot longer than expected due to the narrowness and roughness of the road. I was worried about getting back in time because we had an 11 o'clock checkout and the late fee was $100. You gotta go towards him. We made it, and the trip was worth it. Well, we made it back to the campground, the KOA at West Glacier. We were a little bit late, so we're a little bit late pulling out. That road to the lake by Polebridge was not fun, a little bit stressful, and because we were pressed for time, that made it a little bit more stressful. But here we are, hooked up, showered, ready to go on to Babb. Just a 2-hour drive. We've got a Hipcamp there. Not sure what that's going to be like, but we're going to check it out, and hopefully boondocking for a few nights will be fun, and we'll get to see more of Glacier National Park. We headed out along the infamous Highway 2, the northernlymost highway in America. In order to get to the east side of Glacier, you actually go south from West Glacier and down around the park and its mountains. Our destination was Duck Lake in Babb and a Hipcamp site we had booked, which purportedly at times had wildlife, including grizzly bears, wandering around. The topography starts out as forested mountains and you pass by the Two Medicine entrance to Glacier, but that will have to wait till another trip. Ultimately, the forested mountains give way to high desert plains and rolling hills. Unfortunately, when we got to our destination, there really was only one suitable site available, and to get to it, I'd have to drive my truck almost into the lake in order to back in. Plus, it was so windy the lake had whitecaps on it and spray was hitting us as we stood on the shore. So we nixed that idea and ended up at the only place we could find in the vicinity, the East Glacier KOA. While not the Taj Mahal we were accustomed to, it was really convenient to where we were going, and beggars can't be choosers. Saturday the 28th broke bright and sunny and we were excited.
Take a slight left turn onto Many Glacier Road. In about 11 miles, turn left onto Many Glacier Lodge Loop.
Today, Pam and I are heading to Swift Current Lake via the Many Glaciers entrance to the park in order to hike the Iceberg Lake Trail. The day is absolutely fantastic. And since the Many Glaciers Hotel was closed for the season, parking was abundant, at least this early in the morning. So we're starting the Iceberg Lake Trail from the Many Glaciers parking lot. This is considered a very challenging trail. Not happy to hear that. I'm an old guy, that's why they call me the old coot camper. But my partner in crime is convinced that we can make it. Me, not so much. So the first part of the Iceberg Trail is through a forest. Absolutely beautiful. Fall is such a cool time, the weather is cool. Colors are turning. Nose is running. Yeah, so far, 1/4 mile in, I'm still okay. Less than a mile into the trail, we came to a crowd. You know what that means? Literally, just a few feet off the trail was Mama Moose and her calf. Mama was getting a little bit perturbed, so we moved on. Alright, Iceberg Lake, here we go. What I didn't realize at the time was that by starting at the Many Glaciers Hotel parking lot rather than the Iceberg Lake trailhead, which you couldn't get to because of construction, we were adding about 1¼ miles each way to the hike. So rather than 9.6 miles, it was going to be closer to 12 miles. We found a passenger. Her name is Angela. Say hi, Angela. Angela wasn't planning on hiking to the lake, so she wasn't fully equipped with water and food, but since we had plenty of both, we gladly offered for her to join us. Every once in a while, Angela would take out her binoculars to peer for wildlife, and she happened to catch something. A bit hard to tell from these distance photos, but it was 5 moose, 3 bulls, a mom, and a calf, all traveling together. This apparently is a very rare sight. And after about 6 miles and 1,400 feet of elevation gain, we were almost there. Well, we almost made it. Here we are. Take a peek at this. It was, without question, one of the most amazing sights I've ever seen. Shortly after arriving at the lake, the sun began to peek over the top of the canyon walls, transforming the lake from a dark pool to a turquoise-colored sea. As we started our departure, we noticed that a mule deer had come down towards the lake to feed. Of course, Pam thought it would be funny filming me trying to film the mule deer. I tell you what, this hike left us nothing short of totally awestruck by the beauty of Glacier National Park. It is unbelievable. So we just finished the Iceberg Lake Trail. Came out to 12.6 miles on our Garmin. About 7 hours, is that what it was? About 7 hours. It was a long trail for this old guy, but we made it and it was absolutely spectacular. Wow. So today is Sunday, September 29th, and it looks gorgeous out here. But what you don't see is that the wind is blowing about 50 miles an hour. We were planning to go up to Logan Pass and hike either the Hidden Lake Trail or the Highline Trail, but it's too damn windy, and honestly there's rain and snow in the forecast, so we're not going to do that. Rather, we're going to hike the Bullhead Lake Trail on the Many Glaciers entrance. Maybe we'll be able to hike the Hidden Lake Trail or a portion of it early tomorrow morning before we have to check out on the KOA's last day of the season. So I don't know if you can hear me, but we decided to do a hike 7 miles Bullhead Lake in about a 40-mile-an-hour constant wind. Kind of dangerous because the bear can't hear you, or the moose, but I don't know, here we are, we're doing it. Wow, that's beautiful. So I'm beginning to think we're absolutely nuts for being out here. The wind literally has gusts over 50 miles an hour, but we are in the trees, so that's good. Just where the bears can get us, because they can't hear us and we can't hear them. So we just talked to a member of the Glacier National Wildlife Society who was out here and said right in this area they saw a grizzly just working the side of this hill behind me. So we're very cautious about that. Trying to make noise, but the wind is really howling and our bear spray is probably quite ineffective. Oh, well, that's nice. There is no bridge. I don't know. What do you think? It's gonna go over your boot.
I'm not walking back with wet feet.
I'm good with that. So we did not make it all the way to Bullhead Lake. We cut the trail short. There was a little river crossing, which really wasn't that big of a deal, but both of us are kind of gassed. We did 12.5 miles yesterday. This trek is turning out to be longer than we thought. If we went to the end and back, probably closer to 9. So the extra, I don't know, quarter mile or so to the lake in wet feet, and then 5 miles back in wet feet, honestly, just wasn't worth it. Hey, boo! To the end of this hike, we looked at these odd trees and it was the end of my filming because frankly I was gassed and didn't have any more energy to film after doing 12.5 miles yesterday and 10 miles today. So the original plan today was to get up early, drive up to Logan Pass and do at least the Hidden Overlook Trail. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate. And when we got up this morning, we just said, you know what? It's too cold up there. It rained and snowed. Who knew what the roads were like? So now we're just heading to our next destination, starting our journey home, Fort Peck, Montana. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us at Glacier National Park. It is one of the most incredible, impressive places in the U.S., if not the world. And frankly, our stay was too short to see all the things we wanted. And as you saw, weather is a bit unpredictable. We're on our way home now, but we have at least one more interesting stop at Teddy Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota. And I hope you will join us for that. Until next time, carry on. Cheers.